Hello, I'm Karan Upadhyay from the Department of Electronics and Electrical Engineering, and this is a video assignment on file system management in Windows 10. It is part of the course CS350M, minor course in computer systems. So let's proceed. What is file system management? It refers to the process of organizing, storing, and managing files within a computer's file system. A file system is a hierarchical structure used by OS to organize and store files and directories on a storage device. It involves tasks such as creating, deleting files and directories, moving and copying files, and managing the storage. It also involves maintaining the health and performance of the storage device by defragmenting the hard drive, optimizing disk space usage, and monitoring disk health and performance to reduce the risk of data loss or corruption. It is essential to keep a file system organized that can help improve system performance and securing the data. This is an overview for the topics that I'll cover in the presentation. What is file system? File allocation table FAT, extended file allocation table XFAT, new technology file system NTFS, file explorer, directory management, file names and extensions, file permissions, file encryption, file compression and recovery. What is file system? File system is a collection of algorithms and data structures that perform the translation from logical file operations to actual physical storage information. In computing, a file system determines how data is stored and retrieved. Without using the file system, information placed in storage medium would be one large body of data with no way to know where one piece of information stops and next one begins. Windows 10 uses file systems such as FAT, file allocation table, XFAT, extended file allocation table, and mainly NTFS, new technology file systems. File allocation table or FAT is an older file system used on some external devices like USB flash drives and SD cards. It maintains map of clusters. That is, OS creates a FAT entry for the new file to record where a cluster is located. In Windows 10, FAT is still used on some external storage devices as it provides good performance in lightweight implementations. Some features of FAT includes simple directory structures that allows for easy file access and management. Compatibility. It is compatible with wide range of devices and OS including Windows, Mac OS and Linux. It has limited security features which makes it less suitable for storing sensitive data. It has a maximum file size limit of 4 GB. In FAT32, that is the most advanced FAT system, has a file size limit of 4 GB. It may not be suitable for storing large files. Overall, while FAT is simple and widely compatible system, it has some limitations. This table shows the versions of FAT with increasing max file sizes and max volume sizes. To address the limitations of FAT, XFAT and NTFS will be used that will be discussed later. Extended File Allocation Table (XFAT) is a newer file system introduced by Microsoft in 2006 in Windows Vista that is designed for use of flash drives, SD cards and other removable storage devices. XFAT is designed to address some of the limitations of FAT, particularly the 4 GB file size limit. Some key features of XFAT include large file size support up to 16 exabytes, which is much larger than the 4 GB limit of FAT. Compatibility, including Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. No partition size limit. Unlike FAT with partition size limit of 32 GB, XFAT has no partition size limit, which makes it suitable for larger storage devices. Improved file system recovery. It helps to reduce the risk of data loss in unexpected events. Built-in support for large storage solutions. It includes built-in support for features like disk quotas and file compression. Overall, XFAT is a reliable and widely compatible file system that offers many benefits for users who need to store large files or manage the data on removable storage devices. However, it is it may not be suitable for use on internal hard drives or other storage devices that require more advanced security features. New Technology File System (NTFS) is the default file system used in Windows 10 for internal and external hard drives. NTFS is a high-performance file system that offers several benefits over its predecessor FAT. It was introduced in 1993 to overcome the issues associated with FAT. NTFS uses B-tree structure. B-tree structure allows NTFS to group or index similar file names and then search only the group that contains the file, minimizing the number of disk accesses. Every file in NTFS is described by one or more records in an array stored in a special file called master file table. Some key features of NTFS includes large file size support up to 16 exabytes compared to 4 GB of FAT. Journaling the file system. Advanced security features, folder permissions, encryption and auditing. This helps to protect data from unauthorized access. Fault tolerance. If in between a file transfer some error happens, then no damage will be caused. Compression is built in the NTFS and it has disk quotas that allows administrator to limit the data one user can consume. It has only limitation that has non-Windows compatibility limited. This table shows the comparison between FAT, FAT32, XFAT and NTFS. The only difference is that NTFS supports file compression, encryption and permissions over the older FAT systems. File Explorer is the primary tool for file system management in Windows 10. It includes features such as browse and manage files and folders in computer, external drives or networks. You can create, copy, rename, delete files or folders through File Explorer. Search allows to search file by name, date modified, size or more. Preview. You can preview files without opening them. Properties. You can view and change file properties such as size, type and permissions. File properties can provide useful information about file such as date it was created, modified or last viewed. Now we are into directory management. The number of files in a directory is limited by the size of the disk where directory is stored. The link between the directory and the files within directory is implemented as a directory entry table by NTFS file system. One or more entries are created in this table for each file in directory as shown in figure. Additional entries created for a file are called hard links. Any number of hard links can be created for a file. Whenever a file is created, its entry is added into the table. Similarly, when a file is moved to directory, its entry is created as moved file. When a file is deleted, its entry is also deleted from the table. Disk management, cleanup and defragmentation. Disk management used to create, delete, resize and format and assign drive letters to partitions and volumes. It can also be used to manage external USB drives and other storage devices. Disk cleanup allows users to free up space on their hard drive by deleting temporary files and unnecessary files. Disk defragmentation, it is built-in Windows utility tool that rearranges fragmented files on the hard drive so that they are restored in contiguous blocks. File names and extensions. File names, extensions and attributes provide information about the file's location, its type, size, creation and modification dates, and some other properties. A file name is a primary way of identifying a file on a computer. In Windows 10, file names can contain up to 255 characters and can include letters, numbers, spaces, and special characters such as hyphens and underscore. However, certain characters such as backslash, colon, asterisk are not allowed in the file names. It creates an error. File permissions. File and folder permissions control who can access, modify or delete files and folders from your computer. Windows 10 includes several levels of permissions including full control. This allows a user or group to perform any action on the file or folder including reading, writing, modifying and deleting. Modify allows user or group to modify a file or folder but not delete it. Read and execute allows a user to or group to view and run files but not modify and delete them. Read access allows group to view files but not modify or delete them. And write access allows user to read and write it. File permissions in Windows 10 are organized in three categories: owner, group, and others. File encryption is a security feature that allows you to protect your sensitive files and folders by encrypting them with a password. Windows 10 includes two types of file encryption: BitLocker drive encryption, that features allows to encrypt an entire file such as hard drive or USB flash drive with a password or smart card. Once encrypted, the drive cannot be accessed without password or smart card. EFS, encrypting file system. This feature allows to encrypt individual files and folders on your computer. EFS uses a public key infrastructure (PKI) to encrypt and decrypt files. The encryption key is stored in your user account profile, so only you can access the encrypted files. File compression. Compression of file is supported by NTFS file system. It uses a lossless compression algorithm called Lampel-Zip algorithm to compress files. This allows data to be decompressed without any loss of information. Compression of files larger than 30 GB may not be useful. Applications cannot access compressed data files but can only operate on those files with assistance of file compression library. To compress a file, NTFS divides the file's data into compression units, which are blocks of 16 contiguous clusters. For sparse files, NTFS uses another technique to save space. Clusters can contain all zeros are not actually allocated to or stored in a disk. Instead, gaps are left in the sequence of virtual cluster numbers stored in MFT entry for the file. When reading a file, if a gap in the virtual cluster numbers is found, and if is just zero fills the portion of the cluster's caller's buffer. It is marked with a special attribute that indicates that it is compressed file, usually indicated at .zip or .rar. NTFS file compression is transparent to users and applications. This is this means that users and applications can access and use compressed files just like any other file. Obviously, not all file types can be encrypted or suitable for encryption. For example, MP3 or JPEG cannot be compressed further without the loss of data. Recovery. All file system data structure updates are performed inside transactions that are logged. Before a data structure is altered, the transaction writes a log record that contains redo and undo information. After the data structure has been changed, a commit record is written into the log to signify that the transaction succeeded. After a crash, the file system data structures can be restored to a consistent state by processing the log records. This scheme does not guarantee that all the user file data files can be recovered after a crash, just that the file system data structures are undamaged and reflect some consistent state prior to the crash. The log is stored in the third metadata file at the beginning of the volume. The logging functionality is provided by Windows 7 file log service. In conclusion, file system management in Windows 10 is a critical aspect of maintaining a healthy and efficient system. The NTFS file system provides advanced features such as compression, encryption, and permissions, as well as journaling and recovery to protect against data loss and corruption. Disk defragmentation and optimization can help to improve system performance by optimizing file placement on the hard drives. File and folder permissions in Windows 10 allowed for a granular control over who can access, modify, or delete the files and folders. Overall, a good understanding of file system management in Windows 10 is essential for maintaining system performance and protecting against data loss. Thank you.